if you missed all the action earlier, you're just in luck, because we've got these 3 lovely giraffe bulls, some young bulls, fighting with each other. And of course, not real fighting. This is just sparring, and this is called necking. And what I was looking at, look at that, isn't that amazing? You should really try and see if you can perhaps get a screenshot when they sort of pretzel themselves together. That is quite unique. I still cannot get over that. I've never seen 3 young giraffe sort of sparring with each other. It's quite spectacular. It's definitely more impressive when there are more than 2 of them. Oh, wow, look at that. There we go. That's beautiful. I'm sure they probably would prefer some more, what type of comments? What is the word I'm looking for, Brian? I'm calling them beautiful and all sorts of strange things. Right, let's go back to Ronald. Now, Ronald's got a new friend.
Henry ain't giving any action today, but Ronald has another friend. Have a look at this. There's an elephant coming to say hello to Ronald, and Ronald now is, of course, in deeply mortal danger. Luckily, Ronald is inanimate, and he doesn't quite realize. Now, what this elephant's doing is smelling. It can smell human. It might push Ronald over, but what it won't do is stand on Ronald unintentionally. It might kick him over. Ha! Yeah, no. He's... That's Ronald's view, everybody. There he is. You can see him on the damn camera. Let's see if he's still mobile. Oh, dear, no, he's faded. He's turning round. He's turning, but we've got no picture. I think the camera's been kicked. Ah, no. Look, I'll just quickly, just keep on Ronald there. I'll just see if I can drive him away from the water's edge. There we are. He is still mobile, everybody. Oops. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so that was Ronald's experience with the elephant. Now, he's had an amazing time with elephants, and we have too through him. We're often asked why it is that elephants don't, or how it is that they don't stand on their calves. And in the big herds, often you have tiny elephants, not more than sort of, 2.5, 3 feet off the ground, and these huge leviathans walking all around them. And never do they get stood on. And they are so aware of what's underneath them. And we've watched Ronald underneath a herd of elephants. They've all decided that he's no harm to them, and they just walk around him. It's unbelievable how sensitive their feet are. Anyway, we'll try and get him back and find out what's going on with Ronald, comfort him, send him back out into the fray. Meanwhile, let's go and take a look at Red Dam with Jamie and Tingana.
Oh dear, poor Ronald. I do hope that he is okay. Meanwhile, Tingana's doing his best possible impression of Ronald, lying on his side, looking thoroughly relaxed. And who could blame him with a belly that full? Those of you who've perhaps eaten a bit too much every now and again on a large family lunch, or perhaps some kind of holiday, you'll know exactly how he feels. That lazy, exhausted feeling. You can see he's also panting still. We were talking about that earlier, and the fact that they do pant to cool down. He's breathing fast, so he's doing a little bit of cooling down through his nasal passages. Other than that, his tongue is inside. It's not too hot this afternoon, and it's actually getting gradually cooler. He's moved away a little bit from Red Dam and found himself a nice, safe spot on a termite mound, or next to a termite mound. And it just makes sense for him to be slightly away from the water's edge itself. Of course, the water attracts not just prey animals, but also other predators. And the last thing he wants to do, for example, is sleep right next to the water and find himself in the path of hungry lions, for example. So he's quite happily settled here, just a little bit further away. It's amazing the natural instinct that these animals have to keep themselves safe. Right now, he could not look concerned at all. Now, the name Tingana, for our new viewers, the name Tingana means shy. And interestingly enough, funnily enough, it used to be Shadow's name until Tingana entered the scene, and there was a bit of a switch around with all of the different names of the leopards of this area. But Tingana, when he initially arrived here, was a shy leopard. And it goes down to a very, very important lesson on the ethical guiding that's been approached in this area and the way that these animals have been habituated to vehicles. So for our newer viewers that are wondering why we're not afraid or why the animal isn't jumping into our vehicle, well, it's because they're very, very used to us. And I'll go into more detail later. In the meantime, I think let's go to Ronald.
Okay, Ronald's back, and so's his friend. There we have the elephant drinking. You can see the hippopotamus to the right-hand side. And this elephant, I think, is fascinated by Ronald, far more than he is threatened, far more than he is offended. He's curious. He's a youngish elephant bull. Oh, gosh, Ronald, I do hope you're okay, old pal. Look at the elephant's toenails. It's a... Oh, dear. Oh, no. No, stop it. No. That's Ronald's feed there, you can see. That means things are not as they should be. Anyway, listen, this Ronald thing... I'm laughing because the dangerous Russian who does all our tech is going to be very cross with me indeed. I might sleep in the tent. Okay, now, just a quick bit of background to Ronald. It's a different way of engaging with the wild. It's obviously completely inanimate, but he does move. He has the scent of human beings. Now, elephants can get irritated. I said that that elephant wasn't offended by him. I was obviously entirely mistaken because that elephant was offended by him and he's kicked him into the water. It's not ideal, I must confess. Let's have a quick look at the dam cam. Oh, dear. Right, okay, well, at least he's not being leaked on. Yeah. Anyway, oh, God, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I thought I was going to do precisely the opposite. Now I'm really, oh, no. Sorry, Alex. I'm in a lot of trouble now. I'm so sorry, everybody. Right, anyway, so Ronald, that's a deal I'll deal with Alex later. I'll probably sleep out where Steph is now. I feel quite nauseous. So Ronald's, his modus operandi is to get a different view of the wilderness and to interact in a slightly different way. And obviously today was not a particularly effective way for him to have interacted with the wilderness, but a great view nevertheless. Let's head back to Tingana for now, and I will try and placate Rasputin the Russian.
Oh dear, poor Ronald, what a disaster. It's definitely not the way that Ronald's afternoon was meant to go. In the meantime, somebody else is having a much nicer afternoon and is now... Oh. I was about to say is about to get up, but most definitely not. I think we might need to do some maneuvering to get us a better view in a moment. But for now, we've got a view of the beautiful golden fur of this leopard and his massive neck and shoulders. He really is a top-heavy. There is a huge difference in size between the female and the male leopards. The males are basically twice the size of the females. So whilst Tingana is roughly 80 kilograms, so around, actually over 170 pounds, the females are a little bit smaller than that, usually sitting at around an average of 50 kilograms, so about 110 odd pounds. So considerable difference in size. Now, I was talking earlier about why the animals are not dangerous or do not jump into our vehicles. I think that's a bad way of phrasing it. I think that saying they're not dangerous is not a good way of saying it. They can be dangerous. They're wild animals, and we should never forget that. That being said, they're not out to get us in any way. They don't see us in the vehicle as prey, and because they've been treated very, very carefully by different human beings, they are very comfortable with the presence of the vehicle in their space. Right. Let's reposition so we can get a nice view of Mr. T's head. Hopefully. Oh, hold on.
I have not recovered, everybody, and that is my personal tribute to the Russian. It is, of course, a hammer and sickle, which is a joke in very bad taste, and he's probably going to be even crosser. Now, of course, what would be very nice for Jamie right now is Polyrhynchus, which tastes like a little lemon drop. Unfortunately, Polyrhynchus I have lost since I had her last. Now, I have something quite astounding to show you, and a little bit like Tingana, I suppose, the heart of this creature I'm going to show you is beating quite fast. Have a look at this. It's a caterpillar, and if you look very carefully, you can see the beating of its long-chambered heart, which runs along the top, just under the skin there, and you can see it beating. Can you see that? Ba-boom, ba-boom. And what it's pumping is something called hemolymph, which is the equivalent of our blood. It's green mostly, though, and it's being pumped all the way around this caterpillar's body. Now, what I will do is take this out from under the microscope, and I'll show you the brilliance of this caterpillar. What it's done, this is since yesterday. We caught this caterpillar yesterday, and we put it in the jar with some leaves because there were some eggs here. But what it has done is created a little silken home for itself in amongst the leaves. Isn't that cool? So it's pulled all of these leaves together with sticky silk, and that's where it's hoping to stay safe. And we will release it. We're not going to keep it until it pupates. Well, maybe we should keep it until it pupates and find out what it is. Anyway, if you have any questions, remember, #SafariLive. You can talk to us in the tent in the same way that you can talk to us, talk to any of the others. Now, Haley, you're wondering about the skull on the top with the big black horns. Well, Haley, thank you very much for asking, mainly because I really like to show off my little shelf of death. Here we have a wildebeest. This is a blue wildebeest, a very large bull, blue wildebeest, and he's been bleached. He was professionally prepared, and that's what he is, basically. And you can just compare him. I know some people sometimes mistake them for buffalo, but here is an enormous buffalo bull, and you can see a huge amount heavier. And remember, I don't know if you remember that Jamie was telling you very early on that the top of the horns here gets rubbed away, and there you can see that on that skull. Now, I became slightly tongue-tied there because Jamie is having herself quite an astounding afternoon. There seem to be lovers in the offing.
Can you believe it? It's just one of those amazing things that whenever you sit somewhere in the bush for an extended period of time, amazing things happen. For our new viewers, this is a completely different leopard, and her name is Shadow. And she's just popped out of nowhere. I had no idea she was here. This is absolutely incredible. Her timing could not have been more perfect. I'm going to have to leave this sighting in the next few minutes, but hopefully... Oh, he had his head up earlier. Now he's gone back to sleep again. Well, hopefully, the two lovebirds might reunite once again. I have to tell you that the last time I saw a Shadow and Tingana encounter, or one of the last times I saw a Shadow and Tingana encounter, he had, to be fair to Tingana, he had just been chased by a lion up a tree and managed to safely come down. But the last time I actually witnessed it, Tingana ran away from Shadow. Oh, and there she goes, slinking down into the ravine. Remember how I said earlier I hear alarm calls, and that it didn't sound like the sort of normal, it sounded frantic from the go-away birds. I thought it was the Wahlberg's eagles. They knew something I didn't, and that was that Shadow's around. Now, where's she going? He's over here, my dear. This side, this way. Female leopards in estrus, or in heat, as it's also known, can be quite relentless in their pursuit of their male suitors. They're often searching around. Look, I don't think she knows he's here. She also looks quite full, like she's recently eaten. Now what? What to do? Where to go?
I must say I'm very surprised that those lions weren't found. We tracked them this morning as well. I don't think they would have gone far, but that's how it goes out here. You don't always find what you want, but you often find things that, they're unusual. Over here, we've got the exoskeleton of a millipede, and that has been devoured by a scorpion and left as detritus. This is chitin, which is almost completely inedible, and we'll have a quick look at it under the microscope. There it is. not particularly impressive. Under the microscope. Anyway, we probably won't try that again. Marvellous. Okay, everybody, it's been wonderful having you with us. We're going to hand you over to Jamie for the last few minutes from No, not from Ronald. Hopefully Ronald will see you next time. Until then, bye-bye.